I hope you have revised the theory done in the last class. Based on what I have taught in the last class, we shall do some problems now. First problem. Refer the mechanical system. Refer the mechanical system shown in figure 1. Part A. Find equations of motion. Find equations of motion for masses m1 and m2. Part B. Find the transfer function. Find the transfer function x2 of s divided by f of s. x2 of s divided by f of s. This is the problem given. x1 of t sometimes you just write as x1, but use lowercase letter. All time domain functions are represented by a lowercase letter or a small letter. All transform variables, Laplace transform variables are denoted by capital letters. See, before commencing this problem, you have to ascertain that the minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. There are two masses m1 and m2. Therefore, we have been given two displacements x1 and x2. Second thing is displacements on either side of a spring and a damper must be different. Again, I repeat, minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. There are two masses here. Therefore, rightly we have got two displacements in the form of x1 of t and x2 of t. Second point is displacements on either side of a spring and a damper must be different. Let us check this. Spring is fixed here, displacement is 0. The other end of the spring is connected to m1. What is the displacement of m1? Displacement of m1 is x1. So here the displacement is x1. On one side it is 0, on the other side it is x1. That means on either side it is different. Here the displacement is 0 because it is fixed. The point is fixed. Here the displacement is x1 because it is connected to m1. Here the displacement is x1 because it is connected to m1. The displacement here is x2 because m2 has got a displacement equal to x2. On either sides it is different. So some important points we will note. First one is number of displacements. Number of displacements equals number of masses. Number of masses in the system. Second point is the displacements on either sides of a spring, and a damper must be different. The element m means mass, or J means moment of inertia, will always come between a reference node and an independent node in a mechanical network. What is that mechanical network? I am going to explain. Element M or J, M means mass, J means moment of inertia, will always come between a reference node and an independent node in a mechanical network. Fourth one, the elements B or K can come between, can be connected between two independent nodes, or between an independent node and the reference node. Fifth one, number of independent nodes in a mechanical network equals number of displacements in a given mechanical system. These points are written for you in order to solve the problem. What I said, number of displacements is equal to number of masses. Before you start the problem, this point is very important. You may ask me, is it possible to have more displacement than the masses? The answer is yes. Let me take a simple mechanical system. Like this. We have got mass M and spring connected serially, and a force F of t is applied to this spring. What I said, minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. There is one mass, therefore there will be definitely one displacement, which is x1. Displacements on either sides of the mass will always be identical. Correct now? So mass, see here, mass m1 moves by distance x1. Displacement here is x1. Here the displacement has to be different because displacements on either sides of a spring must be different. Therefore, the displacement here has to be x2. See, we have got one mass, but there are two displacements. So displacements, minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. I will say minimum number of displacements, that is better. Minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. Therefore, one displacement is a must. The displacements on either sides of a spring and a damper must be different. See here the displacement is x1, on the other side it has to be x2. Note that. The element M or J will always come between a reference node and an independent node in a mechanical network. This aspect I will tell you when I start the solution. The elements B and K can be connected between two independent nodes or between an independent node and the reference node. That means elements B or K can come anywhere in the mechanical network. Number of independent nodes in a mechanical network equals number of displacements in a given mechanical system. Keeping all these points in mind, let me now draw the mechanical network. This problem can be solved alternatively by drawing the free body diagram, where the applied forces equals reactive forces concept is applied. The mechanical network is as shown. What I said, number of independent nodes there are two independent nodes x1 and x2 because there are two displacements in the system. Before commencing the problem, let us first check whether number of displacements are sufficient. Minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. There are two masses m1 and m2, therefore two displacements given the problem are sufficient. Displacement here is 0 because the spring is fixed. The other end of the spring is connected to m1, therefore the displacement is x1. On one side it is 0, on the other side it is x1. Fine. Same is true for element b1 because b1 is in parallel with a1. Displacements on either sides of the masses must be same because mass is a rigid body. Therefore displacement here if it is x1, here also it is x1. Displacement here has to be x2 because this end of the spring is connected to m2 and m2 has a displacement equal to x2. On one side it is x1, on the other side it is x2. So, minimum number of displacement criterion is met. Also the criterion displacements on either sides of k and b must be different is also met. Now the problem is, now the data is sufficient to start the solution. I marked two independent nodes x1 and x2 because there are two displacements in the mechanical system. We shall take a node called reference node which has got a displacement equal to 0. Now let us start the problem from the fixed end. Here the displacement is 0, on the other side it is x1. Therefore, spring k1 will come between x1 and 0. Normally, m1 in this figure corresponds to x1 in this figure. Means if this and this reference node corresponds to the stationary reference in the mechanical system. So now b1, here the displacement, now let us clamp b1 in this mechanical network. Here the displacement is 0, here it is x1. So I will connect b1 between x1 and ground. See, m1 in this figure again repeat corresponds to x1 in this figure. Now k2 is connected between m1 and m2. m1 corresponds to x1, its displacement. x2 corresponds to m2, correct? Therefore, k2 is inserted between x1 and x2. In other words, here the displacement is x1, here it is x2. Therefore, k2 is coming between x1 and x2. I also said that masses cannot come between two independent nodes. That means m1 and m2 cannot come between x1 and x2. m1, in other words, m1 has to come between x1 and ground. m2 has to come between x2 and ground. This is m1. It comes between x1 and ground. m2 comes between x2 and ground. Please note that. Now force f of t is applied to mass m1. m1 in this figure corresponds to x1 in this figure. So force f of t is applied to node x1. This figure is called mechanical network. Once you write this figure correctly, the solution is very mechanical in nature. So the direction of force f of t is always into the node, into the respective independent node, irrespective of the direction given here. So just like Kirchhoff's current law, here we will apply Newton's law. Then f of t is applied force. Applied force is equal to sum of reactive forces. Each reactive force is assumed to leave node x1. So I am going to write now at node x1. At node x1. At node x1. Just like Kirchhoff's current law, sum of currents entering is equal to sum of currents leaving, with the exception currents are replaced by forces. So what is the force in K? K into X. What is K here? K1. What is X here? X1 minus 0. Therefore reactive force in K1 is K1 into X1. Actually it is x1 minus 0, which is x1. What is reactive force in B? B into dx by dt. What is B here? B1. What is x here? x1 minus 0. So plus B1 into dx1 by dt. What is reactive force for M1? It is M1 into d square x1 by dt square plus all these forces are assumed to leave node x1. What is reactive force in K2? It is K2 into x1 minus x2. Since we are writing equation at node x1, x1 is always positive compared to x2, like we did in the nodal analysis of network analysis, is equal to sum of the forces leaving node x1 is equal to force entering. Force entering is f of t. So this is nothing but equation of motion. This is nothing but equation of motion for mass m1 part A. This I call equation 1. Taking Laplace transform on both sides of equation 1 with all initial conditions equal to 0, we get k1 into x1 of s. Once you take Laplace transform, x1 of t becomes x1 of s. Please note that here I have written capital letter for x1. Here I have written small letter for x1. So when you write a small letter, it is understood it is a function of time. Therefore, I have not written x1 a function of time because it is understood. Plus b1 into s into x1 of s. Why this s is coming? Because Laplace transform of d by dt is s plus m1 into s square into x1 of s. Why this s square is coming? Because of the fact Laplace transform of d square by dt square is s square plus k2 into x1 of s minus k2 into x2 of s is equal to f of s. Once you take Laplace transforms with initial conditions set to 0, the differential equation gets converted into an algebraic equation. Now we collect the coefficients of x1 and x2 separately. If you take x1 of s common, you get m1 s square plus b1 s plus k1 plus k2 minus k2 into x2 of s is equal to f of s. This I call equation 2. This is what we get when you write nodal equation at node x1 with currents being replaced by forces. Second one at node x2. At node x2 we have got only two elements, therefore there will be only two terms in the equation and both will be reactive forces. What is reactive force in M2? It is M2 into d square x2 by dt square. What is reactive force in K2? Plus K2 into x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1 because we are writing equation at node x2 is equal to 0 because there are no applied forces at node x2. This is equation 3. Taking Laplace transform on both sides of equation 3 with all initial conditions equal to 0 gives m2 into s square into x2 of s. Once you take Laplace transform, small x2 should be replaced by capital X2 plus small letter means lowercase letter will be represented by an uppercase letter which is the capital letter plus k2 into x2 of s minus k2 into x1 of s is equal to 0. Now I will write x1 of s terms separately, x2 of s terms separately. This implies minus k2 into x1 of s plus m2 s square plus k2 into x2 of s equal to 0. Now we'll put equations 2 and 4 in matrix form. Putting equations 2 and 4 in a matrix form gives first column. I'll write the coefficients of x1 of s. m1 s square plus b1s plus k1 plus k2 is the coefficient of x1 in equation 2. In equation 4, the corresponding coefficient is minus k2. Second column will write the coefficients of x2 of s. In equation 2, that coefficient is minus k2. In equation 4, the coefficient of x2 of s is m2s square plus k2. m2s square plus k2 multiplied by the column matrix x1 of s, x2 of s is equal to, in the first equation, so in equation 2, the right hand side is f of s. In equation 4, the right hand side is 0. So this is the matrix equation. Now we have to solve for x2 of s. This is done by using Cramer's rule. Using Cramer's rule gives x2 of s is equal to delta 2 divided by delta. What is delta 2? Delta 2 is the determinant. Replace the second column by right hand side. So first column remains unchanged, m1 s square plus b1s plus k1 plus k2 minus k2. Second column is replaced by the right hand side, f of s 0, divided by delta, where delta equals this into this minus this into this. So it is m1 s square plus b1s plus k1 plus k2 multiplied by m2s square plus k2 minus k2 square. This into this minus this into this. This implies x2 of s is equal to this into this is 0 minus this into this. So you get what? K2 into f of s divided by delta. Hence, the transfer function x2 of s divided by f of s is equal to k2 divided by delta, where delta is m1s square plus b1s plus k1 plus k2 into m2s square plus k2 minus k2 square. This is how the problem is solved. We shall move to next problem. We shall go to second problem. For the mechanical system, shown in the figure, find the transfer function Find the transfer function x of s divided by f of s. Very, very important problem. The mechanical system I am going to write. This is the problem given. Force F of t is applied to mass m1. Displacement of mass m2 is x. Before starting this problem, we have to see whether the displacements given the problem are sufficient or not. Minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. We have two masses, therefore two displacements must be there minimum, but we are given only one displacement. So what we do is, we take the displacement of m1 as x1, displacement of m2 as x2. x2 is nothing but x itself. x2 is nothing but x itself. Then displacements on either sides of a spring and a damper must be different. Here, take the spring, displacement is 0 because it is fixed. The other end is connected to m1. Displacement of m1 is x1, therefore the displacement here is x1. On one side it is 0, on the other side x1. Here the displacement is x1 because it is connected to m1. Displacement is m2 is x2 because the other end is connected to m2. On this side it is x1, on the other side it is x2. Either sides it is different. Here the displacement is x2, here it is 0. Therefore, two displacements are sufficient to solve this problem. But in the actual problem is given only one displacement to confuse you. Minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses. Displacements on either side of a spring and a damper must be different. These two things you have to ensure before starting the solution. I will now take two independent nodes x1 and x2. We have taken two independent nodes because we have two displacements in the mechanical system. We shall then take a reference node. Now start the problem from the fixed end. K1 will come between x1 and ground. M1 will come between x1 and ground. M1 has to come between x1 and ground only, no option. M2 has to come between x2 and ground only, no option. A mass will always come between an independent node and the reference node. K2 comes between x1 and x2. This is K2. K3 will come between x2 and ground. Force F of t is applied to m1. Whatever happens to m1 in this figure happens at x1 in this figure. That is the correspondence. Whatever happens at m2 happens at x2 in this figure. Now force F of t is applied to mass m1. Therefore, force F of t is given to node x1. Now we have to insert b1 and b2. See, when a force F of t is applied to the system, masses m1 and m2 vibrate. This surface of the mass m1 rubs with the ground and a frictional coefficient b1 is created. This surface of the mass m2 rubs against the ground and a frictional coefficient b2 is created. Any frictional coefficient is represented as a damper in the mechanical system. It's only a representation. B1 is between M1 and ground. M1 means X1, ground means reference node. Therefore, a damper B1 is drawn between X1 and ground. There is no damper in the mechanical system. It's only a representation in the mechanical network. B2 is between M2 and ground. M2 means X2, ground means reference node. Therefore, we draw a damper between X2 and ground. Count the number of elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And a force F of t is applied to M1. Anything applied to M1 shall be applied at X1 because X1 is the displacement of M1. The direction of force F of t is always into the node X1. This is the mechanical network. Once this mechanical network is written, it's a very simple problem. But in the examination, instead of taking two nodes, if you take one node, the entire solution will be wrong. So before drawing the mechanical network, ensure that minimum number of displacements must be equal to number of masses, and displacements on either side of the spring and a damper must be different. Please keep this in mind. X2 is nothing but X. So step 1, at node X1, force in K is what? K into S. So K is what? The force for a spring K into S. Reactive force for K is K into X. Here K is K1, X is X1 minus 0. So it is K1 into X1. For mass M1, what is the reactive force? M1 into d square X1 by dt square. What is the reactive force for D1? Plus B1 into dx1 by dt. What is reactive force for K2? Plus K2 into x1 minus x2 is equal to f of t. Sum of forces leaving node x1 is equal to force entering. The terms on the left side indicate forces leaving the node x1. F of t indicates force entering. In other words, F of t is applied force, these are reactive forces. Sum of reactive forces equals sum of applied forces. Okay. When we write equation at node x1, correct relative displacement for K2 should be x1 minus x2. Similarly, when we write equation at x2, relative displacement for K2 shall be x2 minus x1. And now we have got a differential equation. This differential equation will be converted into an algebraic equation by taking Laplace transform with all initial conditions set to 0. Taking Laplace transform on both sides with all initial conditions equal to 0. With all initial conditions equal to 0 gives K1 into x1 of s plus m1 into s square into x1 of s plus b1 into s into x1 of s. D by dt will become s, d square by dt square will become s square plus K2 into x1 of s minus x2 of s is equal to f of s. Now write x1 of s terms together. Take x1 of s common. You get m1 s square plus b1 s plus k1 plus k2 minus k2 into x2 of s is equal to f of s. This is equation 1. Next, at node x2. Reactive force in M2 is M2 into d square x2 by dt square. This is the force leaving node x2 in mass M2. What is the force in B2 that leaves node x2? It is B2 into d square x2 by dt square. What is force in K2 that leaves node x2? Plus K2 into x2 plus what is in the original problem, this should be actually K3. Okay. So plus K3 into x2. What is force in K2? K2 into x2 minus x1 equal to 0. Now we shall convert this differential equation into an algebraic equation, taking Laplace transform on both sides with all initial conditions equal to 0, with all initial conditions equal to 0 gives m2 into s square into x2 of s plus b2, I made a mistake here, b2 into dx2 by dt, Laplace transform of d by dt is s, and initial conditions are 0, s into x2 of s plus k3 into x2 of s plus k2 into x2 of s minus k2 into x1 of s equal to 0. Please remember, for a mass, the reactive force is m into d square x by dt square. For a spring, the reactive force is k into relative displacement. For a damper, it is b into relative velocities. That means for b2, it is b2 into d by dt of x2 minus 0. If you had b2 here, it would have been b2 into d by dt operating on x2 minus x1 if the equation were written at node x2. If the equation were written at node x1, it would have been b2 into d by dt operating on x1 minus x2. Very simple. Now rearrange the terms by writing x1 of s terms separately, x2 of s terms separately. This implies minus k2 into x1 of s plus x2 of s, if you take common, you get m2 s square plus b2s plus k2 plus k3 equal to 0. This is equation 2. Next step is to put equations 1 and 2 in matrix form. Putting equations 1 and 2 in matrix form. Gives first column, we shall write coefficients of x1 of s, m1 s square plus b1s plus k1 plus k2. This is minus k2. In the second column, we will write the coefficients of x2. This is minus k2. And in equation 2, it is m2 s square plus b2s plus k2 plus k3 multiplied by x1 of s, column matrix x1 of s, x2 of s equals. In the first equation, on the right hand side, we have got f of s. In the second equation, on the right hand side, we have got 0. This is the matrix relation, matrix equation. Now we shall solve for x2 of s. Please note that x2 of s is nothing but x of s. x2 of s is nothing but x of s, the variable of interest. Laplace transform of the output divided by Laplace transform of the input under the assumption all initial conditions are 0 is called transfer function. And transfer function is applicable only for linear and time invariant systems. What is the linear system? What is the time invariant system? You have to understand. If a system is represented by a linear differential equation, it is called a linear system. If the coefficients of various derivatives in the differential equation are constants, it is called a time invariant system. For example, what is the coefficient of dx by dt? It is m. M is a constant. Therefore, it is a time invariant system. If mass changes with respect to time, then it becomes a time variant system. Let us take example. You take your bike. When you are traveling from one point to another point, your weight, the consumption of petrol assume is minimal, then it's a time invariant system. On the other hand, you take a fighter aircraft fitted with bombs. As the bombs are being dropped, the mass of the aircraft keeps changing with respect to time. Therefore, aircraft is a time variant system. So, if a system is represented by a linear differential equation, it is a linear system. If the coefficients of various derivatives are constants, then it is called a time invariant system. More of that you will learn in the subject signals and systems. Let us solve for x2 of s. Let us solve for x2 of s using Cramer's rule. Using Cramer's rule. x2 of s is equal to delta 2 divided by delta. What is delta 2? Replace second column on the right hand side. So it is m1 s square plus b1s plus k1 plus k2 minus k2 is the first column doesn't change. Second column is replaced by the column vector on the right side, which is f of s 0 whole thing divided by delta, where delta equals this into this minus this into this. That means m1 s square plus b1 s plus k1 plus k2 multiplied by m2 s square plus b2 s plus k2 plus k3 minus k2 square. This is what delta is. This implies x2 of s is equal to x of s is equal to this into this is 0 minus this into this means you get k2 into f of s divided by delta. This in turn implies x of s divided by f of s is equal to k2 divided by delta. This is how the problem is solved. So what is important for us is whenever a problem is given on the mechanical system side, first, before putting the mechanical network, ensure whether the displacement given the problem are sufficient or not. Once you write the mechanical network, at each independent node, you write something like KCL equation with currents replaced by forces. What is the reactive force for m? M into d square x by dt square. What is reactive force? What is the text? What is the text? X is the difference between the variable at the independent node minus the reference node. For k, what is the reactive force? K into x. X could be x1 minus x2 or x1 minus 0 or x2 minus 0. K can come between two independent nodes or between an independent node and the reference node. What is the reactive force for B? B into dx by dt. What is x? X could be x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1 or x1 minus 0 or x2 minus 0 depending upon the position of the damper in the mechanical network. Thank you. With this we conclude the problem.